Sci-fi movies led us to believe that electric bikes were gonna look cool. But that never was the case. Until the BMW CE04 came along. Dear BMW Motorrad, thank you for letting me this bike for a couple of days. I feel at least 3 times cooler than normal just by sitting on it while typing on my phone. It makes me feel like prowling the streets of Night City, hunting for some bad dudes while quoting Johnny Silverhand. It might just be the coolest looking scooter that I've ever seen. BMW threw away the rulebook for conventional scooter design on this one, and what they came up with is something that looks like nothing else on the road. It looks very futuristic. It looks like it's straight out of Blade Runner or Cyberpunk 2077. Now, the first thing that catches your attention is the length of the bike. The wheelbase of the bike is 1,675 millimeters. It's a very long bike, as you can see. It's also very low. This is longer than I am tall. If I lay flat next to the bike, this would be longer than me, and I'm 5'8". The bike weighs 231 kilograms, but you don't feel the weight because much of it is underneath the bike. So the battery is located somewhere over here, and the motor is over here. So this has 40 lithium-ion batteries for a combined 8.5 kilowatt hours. That's good enough for 130 kilometers of range. The motor is rated at 20 horsepower with a maximum output of 42 horsepower. It can do 0 to 50 kph in about 2.6 seconds. 0 to 100 takes a bit longer. Charging time at home is about 4 hours and 20 minutes. If you use a quick charger, it only takes about an hour. And you charge it through this charging port over here. Now, as for the suspension, at the front you get a telescopic fork. You get dual 265mm disc brakes with 4-piston calipers. The wheels are 15 inches front and back. The tires are 120/70s at the front and 160/60s at the back. Now, speaking of the rear suspension, you get a single-sided swing arm. The power is sent to the rear wheels via a belt drive. Now, as for the seat height, it's not very high, but the seat itself is quite wide, so I can almost flat-foot it. But if you're less than 5'8", you might have trouble flat-footing it. The CE04 comes with a 10.25-inch multi-purpose screen, which is one of the biggest that I've seen on any motorcycle. It has phone connectivity. You can access the vehicle's different settings, as well as see your range through the screen. The CE04 also has a reverse mode. You simply press the reverse button and then use the throttle to control your speed. Now, it's a very practical vehicle. You get plenty of storage. You have this main storage over here, which is good enough to store your helmet. This compartment over here is sealed, so you can put your stuff without them getting wet. You also have storage here for your phone, and it also has a built-in charger, and it also has a fan in there, so your phone is not going to overheat while it's charging. Now, everything is keyless on this bike. To start it, just press this button over here. You don't need the key to open any of the compartments. As long as the bike is on, you can open any of the compartments by pressing a button, like so. Yeah, so overall, it's a very cool looking scooter. Possibly the coolest looking scooter in the market. I love everything about how it looks, except for the rear wheel over here, which looks like a spare tire. And since you have a single-sided swing arm, you can see the entirety of it. As far as safety features go, it comes with ABS Pro, automatic stability control, and dynamic traction control. When you first look at the bike, you'd think that it'd handle like a limo because it has the proportions of one. but its low ride height and its low center of gravity make it feel really light and maneuverable.
Don't wait for me, honey. Don't wait. 'Cause I'm always heading your way. And I know exactly what I'm looking for.
Throttle response is good. It's very eager to accelerate at lower speeds because of its instant torque. It's when you reach higher speeds that you feel the limitations of the motor. 0 to 50 kph only takes 2.9 seconds, but 0 to 100 takes 9.1 seconds. Now, as far as comfort goes, the suspension is well tuned for absorbing road imperfections. Because of its long wheelbase, it feels stable at higher speeds. But the seat, because it's a bench, it can be a bit uncomfortable after long hours of riding. I do understand though that a more contoured seat would ruin the lines of the bike, and this is one of those cases where the term tiis ganda may apply. But you can buy a different seat that retains the straight lines of the CE04 while adding a little hump so your butt has a bit more surface area to rest on. One thing that you would have to get used to is the attention that the bike brings. Every time I was on the bike, I got glances and stares from people. I got thumbs ups and questions. It's an instant conversation starter, which can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on your personality. I used the bike for almost a week and I returned to the BMW with still a lot of range left. The range is most likely not going to be an issue if you're just going to be driving it in the city, especially if you can charge at home. If you live in a condo, that may be a different question because mall charging stations are only for four-wheeled vehicles and you'd have to go to dedicated paid charging stations to charge your bike. The BMW CE04 sells for 895,000 pesos. Quite a hefty sum. For that amount of money, you have a lot of options, including BMW's own bikes like the F900R, which has more power and more range, or BMW's own C400 GT scooter. Both bikes cost a lot less than the CE04. So who is the bike for? I think it's ideal for those who already own a bigger motorcycle and don't want the hassle of having to bring it on shorter trips in the city. Those who want something different, something that will make you stand out, something that looks cool AF. And last of all, it's for those who have the money to not care so much about the cost to benefit ratio that the bike brings.